So today I'm going to talk to you about meal planning. It is something that I do, and I know a lot of other people do it as well. People do it for different reasons. It can be to stick to a budget. For me, it's just organisation really, to make sure that I've got the food in for something to cook. And just that organisation helps so much. It stops you from having to end up having a takeaway or eating like random combinations of things out of the cupboards, which, while fun occasionally, isn't ideal. And I've just brought this new planner which I really wanted to show you. It is so cute. It's the Floral Balance range from Wilkinson's, and as you know, I started off with their tissue boxes, which have got a really pretty pattern on them. I was just looking at the tissue box there. I've got one just down here. So I started off this obsession with the Floral Balance from this tissue box, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. And now Wilkinson's have got this whole range. And while it's not essential to have a pretty planner to write your meals on, I just love stationery, and I think this one is gorgeous. And this is $2.75, and there's 52 sheets, so $2.75, and you've got a gorgeous planner for every day of the year, and you can just stick it up on the fridge with a nice magnet. So yeah, that's enough about how pretty the planner is. Let's get on to actually how I plan my meals. So I do a big shop at the start of the month where I get most of my meats and heavy items. So I've already got the staples usually in the freezer. So first thing I'll do before I plan my meals for the week is check what's in the freezer and if there's anything fresh in the fridge that really needs using up. And this week, so there isn't anything huge in the freezer. There's some salmon and some beef mince which needs using, so I know that I'm going to incorporate those into my week somewhere. And then the next thing that I do is look at when I'm working and when Trevor's working, because there's one night a week usually where we're both working quite late, so we want quite a quick tea, something that doesn't take a lot of preparation, so I can get it ready, or Trevor can get it ready, whoever's home first can get it prepped like quite quickly, like a no fuss kind of tea. And sometimes on those nights as well, I've already got pre-prepared meals in the freezer that we can use. And yeah, so it's just being mindful of like our schedules and fitting everything around it. And the added thing obviously that I do is, because I write a food blog and I usually do a recipe video once a week, or I'm trying to do a recipe video once a week, is I also look at the days when I can spend more time filming or taking photos of the food that I've made as well. So I kind of try and work that into the recipe. So after I've looked at the food that I've got and our schedules, I usually like to try and cook something new every week. And this week there's a spinach pancake, like a cannelloni type of recipe that I've seen. I thought it was in the Waitrose Kitchen magazine, but I've just had a flick through and I don't think it is, which is a planning fail on my part. It must be in another magazine that I've read recently. One thing that I try to do, which obviously I didn't do this time around, is use these little sticky notes. And I have those at the side of my chair where I usually sit when I'm leafing through magazines or recipe books. And then if I see something that I really want to cook, like the following week, I'll stick a little sticky note into it so I can go back and look for that recipe, which I don't know why that didn't work out this time. I've got to find that spinach recipe, but I'll find it, and that's going to be my new dish that I cook this week. I hope you can see this okay. I've got my dinners all planned out now, and I'm just going to talk you through them one by one. Okay, I just have to mention how cute this little Pikachu is. This is a pen that my friend brought me back from Japan, and Pikachu is doing some baking. So starting with Monday, we're going to have a roast chicken. I'll roast the chicken on Monday late afternoon time, and we'll have the breasts for tea with some roast vegetables. We've already got the roast vegetables at the moment. I will need to buy the chicken though. I'll keep the rest of the chicken that I don't use because I'll reuse that later in the week. So on Tuesday night, we're going to have salmon and noodles with salad greens. And this is one of the dishes that is really quick to make because we're both in quite late on a Tuesday and it doesn't take much prepping to do. So the salmon is in the freezer. I just need to remember to take that out to defrost. And the salad greens, Mum actually gave me those today, and they were leftovers from Sunday lunch. And then I'll just do some noodles with it, probably tossed in some sesame oil, and just a mix of whatever's in the cupboard, just a quick tea there. And the other note that I've made is to make chicken noodle soup. So I'm at home most of the days next week, so I need something to have every day for lunch. So I'll use the carcass of the chicken that I make on Monday to make a chicken noodle soup, and then I'll be able to have that for lunch for the rest of the week when I'm at home. Wednesday is a day where I'm home for most of the day, so I'll make the spinach pancakes. That was the new recipe that I want to try out. As soon as I find where I've put that recipe, then that will be the one that I make. And I need to look that up as well, because that's likely to be a recipe that I need to get ingredients for. So we've got Burns night coming up, and that's something that I want to blog about. So I'll be doing the tatties and neeps, like combination, and we'll serve it with steak pie. On Friday we're having one of our favourites, which is the chorizo risotto. I've got a recipe for this up on the blog, so I'll link that below, and it's a great way for using up leftovers, and there is already some chorizo in the fridge, which is good. So there's not really anything that I need to buy for that. And the chicken with that will be the chicken from the legs of the roast on Monday. So on Monday, after I make the roast chicken, I'll save the carcass for the soup, and I'll strip the meat off the legs and put it into the freezer, and then I'll toss it into this. You do have to be careful reheating chicken, and if it's been cooked, I would definitely say only reheat it once. So you'll need to get that into the freezer as soon as it's cooled on Monday, and then I'll have the bits left to make the chorizo. So on Saturday we're going to have spaghetti bolognese, which isn't really a crazy adventurous dish, and I mean they don't have to be. But we'll be busy on Saturday out and about. We've got shopping and things to do, so that's an easy one to do when we get in the evening. And also it's really nice with a bottle of red wine to just have something simple to chill out to, maybe watch a movie. On Sunday we usually go to Mum's for lunch, so I've left that one blank. So on the other side of the pad there's a part to write other stuff, and when I just went to the freezer now and checked which meats we have, we've got a giant pork loin which I really want to use up, but it's such a big piece we wouldn't eat it between ourselves. So I'd mentioned to my sister Lucy about cooking it at her house so we could have everybody round for dinner, because we just live in a little flat and we haven't really got room here for everybody. So that's a note to me to remember to ask Lucy about having everybody over for dinner for the pork. And also down here, if there are any ingredients that you still need to buy for the recipes, you can make a note of them at the bottom too. So just before I go, I've got a couple of other tips for you that are making the most of your meal planning. So the reason that I went for the roast chicken is because I know I can use that several nights, and I can get more than one meal out of it. So choosing joints or meals that you can bulk out and adapt to feed yourselves for like more than one meal is a really good idea. And so I think also making larger portions than you need and freezing some. So if you have got that night where you're both out and you're both busy and you just need to grab something quickly, there's something already prepared in the freezer, because that's another time when you'd be reaching for the takeaway or eating like a weird combination of, I don't know, tinned beans or something horrible that's not really a meal but you just need to fill yourself up. So I hope that was useful for you, and if there's any of the recipes that you'd like to see elaborated or developed on, then let me know in the comments below. I can do that, that's no problem. And as I mentioned, normally we do a big shop at the start of the month, and I don't usually have specific recipes in mind when I do that shop, but I do buy like a variation of things. So I'll think, we haven't got very much fish in the freezer, so I should really buy some more fish, and then usually at the start of the week I'll work with the fish that I've got in the freezer and how I'm going to put that into a recipe. I know it does help some people if they plan the whole month ahead of time, and that is something that I've done before, but since I've been blogging a bit more recently, I've liked to have the flexibility of not really being so regimented and having each dish already planned for the whole month, because if something comes up like that I want to write a bit more about, I've got some leeway there to juggle the recipes around. So even the recipes really that I've written into my planner for this week, if something comes up or we go out, they can all be jiggled around. It's not set in stone, it's just to try and help keep things organised a bit more. Let me know how you get on with it. See you soon.